got Aaron Jones.
Same.
So he should be ahead of Jonathan Taylor, but
Nah.
it's whatever.
He should be ahead of Nick Chubb.
No, I shouldn't. Aaron Jones last year, 4th in yards per touch, 9th in targets, been top 5 last 2 seasons. He's just a monster. He's on an offense that moves the ball. I will say the one thing that really disappointed me this past season was his touchdowns.
The touchdowns, yep. That's the one thing, yep. That's what kept him out of the elite thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have as many like explosive games. Like he did have like a 40-plus point game early in the season, but he didn't have multiple of those like he did the year before, but he also didn't have a lot of those.
He also had 19 touchdowns the year before.
Yeah. So, last year he went from 19 to 11 touchdowns. That's about the only thing that really changed, to be honest. Everything else was incredibly similar.
Yeah.
So you take the past 2 years, you average those things out. He's averaging 266 touches, 1,458 total yards, 15 touchdowns, 17.5 points per game. I see the same thing happening. And this is with Rodgers playing there. I still think Rodgers is going to be Green Bay Packers quarterback this year. I've always been on that.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not, he will. I mean, he's definitely going to take a hit. He's going to drop out of the spot with me, but I still think he'd be a back end RB1, early RB2. It'd be around there. So it's not going to be terrible, but I like Aaron Jones at 6.
Yeah. I mean,
this would be the worst spot he's finished in the past 2 years.
Yeah, right. For me, if Rodgers doesn't play, I don't think it's going to be a massive hit. I still think this defense is really good. I still think the offense will be able to move the ball, and I think they're going to rely a little bit more heavily on Aaron Jones than Rodgers normally would between him and Devontae Adams and him and Robert Hunt. Like there was this, I hated this, and I know you saw this every time we watched a Packers game together. I just sat there. We're in the 5-yard line. I'm like, Aaron Jones for the touchdown. Nope. There it is, Devontae Adams. The one. Aaron Jones for nope.
Yep.
Devontae Adams for a touch. I'm like, so it was getting so frustrating.
And honestly,
I don't see that happening
with Rodgers there is. I mean, Aaron Jones does have the top 3, top 2. I don't know if he can be 1 overall because I still put that at CMC, Dalvin Cook.
Right.
Want him to get injured or something. Jamal Williams isn't there anymore, so I mean he could be
A.J.
more
Dillon,
consistent.
Man.
Yeah, A.J. Dillon, he's going to see work, but he's not a threat to me like Jamal Williams is, especially in the passing game.
Yeah, A.J. Dillon is not the pass catcher that Jamal Williams was. So to me, that actually opens up Aaron Jones to be more of a complete 3-down back, which he can be already.
Yeah.
So I don't see that changing. And I do think A.J. Dillon will take some touches, but I don't think it's as much.
Yeah, he's gonna.
It won't be the same split, I think.
No.
We'll have to wait and see. But Aaron Jones, I think, is a lock. And honestly, I would love to have him in my top 5 because I think that's where he should be. But
honestly, that's probably where he's going to finish again. But
yeah.
I mean, 6.
It's really close. Because running backs get hurt, guys, all the time. So one of these top 5 guys.
And
he
did miss, I believe it was 2 games last year.
Yeah,
he missed 2 games last year. The year before that, 16 full games. He had some injuries early in his career, but
again,
he's
guys,
a running back.
Running backs get hurt, and they get hurt often. It's just part of the position. So, all right. So, 7.
I had Nick Chubb, so we've already talked about my 7.
Okay, well, we can talk about my 7. I got Saquon Barkley.
He's my 8.
Okay, it's close. So, to me, Saquon, a little nervous, with the injury, but
very nervous. But it's not the injury that's making me nervous.
Well, I'm just saying a little nervous because it is a torn ACL. But
I did see a report within the past couple of days. It might have been today, I forget, but that he's not locking down week 1 availability yet. Yeah,
I heard that too. I was a little shocked to hear that, which makes me wonder and question. Is he? Obviously, he's not fully healed, but you look at those injuries. Honestly, I mean, it being a torn ACL, it's still not always 100% that these running backs are going to come back.
It's not 100%
just as effective. When you look from, I think a span was 2013 to now, there's only 2 running backs that were high-end running backs that had ACL tears that came back and was just as good, if not better, than their prior year, and that was Jamal Charles and Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, well, Adrian Peterson
like
set
freaking
the world on fire when he came back.
So that one's almost
like they gave him a robotic ligament.
Like what did they do? They took age off of him too. I mean that was unheard of. I think he had like 1,700 yards
it was
that
insane.
year. But again, there's still plenty of players that you can name that don't come back and aren't as effective.
Saquon, year one, he came through. He did what we thought he was going to do. He was incredible. But since then, he has taken dips. His efficiency has gone down. His usage has gone down.
Mm-hmm.
And now we need to come to the elephant in the room. Him and Daniel Jones together has not really been that pretty. And these stats I'm about to explain to you
are exactly why.
Okay, but there's also a 40-plus point game in here, which kind of skews stats, but I'm leaving that in here.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all the games he's played with Daniel Jones. I believe it's around 12, something like that, within the first year with Daniel Jones and last year's first game of the season before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He was averaging 21.5 touches per game. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good usage. 109 yards per game. That's good. 0.7 touchdowns per game. That's good. But the problem is it's 14.27 points per game. That would have been 12th last year. And now the team has a lot of new weapons on the team. They brought in Kenny Golladay. They drafted Kadarius Toney.
Yep.
He's not going to see. I mean, when he came into the league, his target totals, year one, 121 targets.
Mm-hmm.
That's Christian McCaffrey level targets.
Yep.
Year two and 13 games, that's 73 targets. Even if you extrapolate that out, that's still significantly less. Last year, I mean, he only played one game. He saw technically 2 games. He saw 9 targets. That passing work is coming down that he used to rely upon. His yards per carry have gone down. The offense, I still don't think is going to be good. I don't think they're going to be scoring a lot. I mean, his best year one, he had 15 touchdowns. Year two, 2019, he had 8 total touchdowns in 13 games. Like, there are red flags with Saquon. I like Saquon. I like the talent. The offense concerns me. Daniel Jones concerns me. The new weapons concern me, and that's why I'm taking him where I'm at.
Yeah, which isn't much different than where I've got him. One pick behind's not crazy, but I agree with you. I mean, when you talk about when he set the world on fire when he came in his rookie season, we want to remind you that was with Eli Manning.
Yeah.
So completely different quarterback, completely different circumstances. And they really didn't have a ton of talent outside of your tight end that you really love there.
Used to
love there, right? So, I mean, Sterling
Evan Ingram, by the way.
Evan Ingram. But Sterling Shepard, he's a good wide receiver. He's not elite. Now I'm drawing blanks. Darius Slayton, good wide receiver, not elite.
Golden Tate,
he's average. So now they have
at that point.
Now they have some pretty decent talent here.
Number one talented wide receiver in there, a young rookie who's going to come in. They are going to
they're going to
be bringing him slowly. They're going to be bringing him slowly,
but they're going to game script him in certain situations, and it's going to take touches away. So he's not really the only man in New York right now. So I get it, but that's why I don't have him in my top 5. Where there's a lot of people that do for some reason.
There are people taking him at 2. He's usually going around that 3 spot, 3-4 spot.
Right. So, but I had to drop him to 7 because again, I do love the talent.
I talked about this last week. That's going to be a real tough debate for me. Nick Chubb or Saquon. I have Nick Chubb at 7. I have Saquon at 8. I'd rather have Nick Chubb than Saquon, and you even have Nick Chubb higher than Saquon, more than me.
Yep. So yeah, it's going to be crazy, and again, it's not Saquon. It's definitely that offense. It's definitely Daniel Jones. And will Daniel Jones be able to improve? I mean, he's literally, there's only 2 options he has left.
I'm guessing no, but
he's either going to or he's going to be out of the league after that.
It's not that I don't want him to. I just haven't really seen much that gives me a lot of hope.
That makes me like, oh, he's going to do it. No, he's not. So we'll see. All right.
Who do you have 8? Because Saquon was my 8.
Joe Mixon.
Okay. He's my 9.
Oh, so we're just going to kind of like tear down.
Honestly, I like that you have him 8.
Yeah. That's fine because we'll talk about, we already talked about my 9, so we'll be able to jump to 10.
I don't like that, but.
No, I do. The talent of Joe Mixon is undeniable. The offense has definitely improved. I think it's going to be, they improved that offensive line. Hopefully Joe Burrow can stay healthy because when Joe Burrow was in there, he was looking really good. They brought in some more offensive talent as far as Jamar Chase goes. T. Higgins in another year. I'm really, really excited to see. This defense still sucks, but
offensive line should be improved a little bit, but it's not going to be good.
Right. It's going to be better, but it's not going to be.
I love Mixon, and I love where he's going in drafts. He's going mid to late second round right now.
205.
Yeah. And this was doing these stats. This is kind of the one that sticks out to me. Like, he only played 6 games last year.
Uh-huh.
But when you extrapolate that out to a 16-game pace, just listen to the volume this dude was seeing. So his 16-game pace last year would have been 373 total touches, right behind Derrick Henry for most touches in the league.
Yep.
It would have been 1,509 yards, not super efficient, but you'll take that. 11 touchdowns, which is low for 363 touchdowns, which might not change too much this year. We'll have to see. 70 targets, 56 receptions for 237 total points. That would have been 4th last year.
Yep.
And he did finish in 11th in points per game last year at 14.8.
Yeah, I just think, when you look at Joe Mixon, he's been on teams where it's just, when he came in the league in 2017, this team's just been trash for so long.
Yep.
And I think he was 35 that year. 2018, he was ranked 9, 13, and 19. And these are seasons he's having that aren't, like, you're not blown away.
No, and his efficiency took a big dip. If you take his efficiency back up to where it was in 2019, if it was 2018, that pace would have been by far the best running back in the league. I'm not expecting that. I have him ranked where I do because there are concerns.
Yep.
It's still not going to be a good offensive line. He's probably still going to be inefficient at times. But the talent is undeniable. He's an explosive player. He's good at pass catching. They did add Jamar Chase in the draft, so that's just another receiving threat there, but there's no one threatening behind him. If he stays healthy, he's going to be an RB1 for sure.
Yeah, so here's why I have him ranked where I do.
And he does have that 5 range upside.
Yeah. Here's why I have him ranked where I have him, though, is because of the injury concerns. Now, he's usually...
It's not like
he's usually fine. I mean, he missed 2 games in 17, 2 in 18, none in 19. He was healthy the whole season, 6 last year. But he constantly has this right foot type injury. And according to Sports Injury Predictor, which is something that I just started using, they basically project out seasons of injury risk, right? He's one of the highest injury risks coming into this season. And so if he doesn't stay healthy, it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So if you're taking him, if he's your number 2 that you're taking, though, you're taking him in the 2nd round, you might not be as burned as if you take one of those top 4 guys and one of them drop. But I still think if he stays healthy, he's going to be very elite. And yes, he does have top 5 upside, 100%. Yeah. He just got to stay healthy.
Yep.
Thank you for watching the Fantasy Monsters on YouTube. If you liked today's episode, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel below. We also have a merch store we want you to check out with all new gear that we've got available. That'll be in the description. Also, if you want to see any past videos, you can check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching the Fantasy Monsters. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.